What's up?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Also, we're live right now, so.
Coming at you
Yep.
live.
Yep. Yes. This.
Gotta
We're.
come up with something better to say. I think that joke's run its course.
Oh, yeah. But still, this is probably like, for me, the last day of the 3-day part celebration that we have, which is the Nightmare of the Dead. And what better to, what better to celebrate, what better to do it in a particular manner than I think would be appropriate to talk the big elephant in the room, which is how do we? Let's just start with let's just say with Applejack's parents. The the also famous pear butter or buttercup at this point and Brightback. Which, to be honest, I really thought it was a shipping name because of Bright Idea. it somehow made me remind me of them. But yeah, but to be honest, I really, in a certain way, I don't know for you, but for me, it's kind of weird. But I really think of Applejack's parents as like. I don't know if you've seen the series on Nickelodeon, Hey Arnold, but it's kind of like Arnold's parents at this point. We don't know if they're dead or not. I mean, we can give hints as to that they might be dead, but it's all into good speculation. We don't even know if they're dead at this point. They could be disappeared. I mean, they never said so if they did. And a lot of people say, oh, you know what, they might be dead because they wouldn't talk about them if they were in this episode. I don't know. I can still say they have disappeared. Either we show them their bodies or show them any kind of proof that they're, Hasbro would actually say they're actually dead. There's still a lot of
I think the creators of the show have stated that they're actually dead.
Okay, point taken. It was Lauren Faust that said that they were dead. So, but
okay, yeah. What more credible source is there than her?
Yeah, what more sources that you need than the creator of this world that we have? But the thing is, I think you can agree in saying that the point here is, will Hasbro say that they're actually dead? Will they say the big D word at this point, which is dead, or talk about dead, or talk about their how they died in some way, without bringing in like a certain grim episode about
Well,
it?
the funny thing about it is they do use the word die in the show, but the word die is never used in reference to, a character. Sparky makes a comment one time like when one friendship dies, another something blah blah blah. But she did use the word die, and then her and Fluttershy have both referenced the Tree of Harmony dying.
Well, if you're going to put it that way, I mean, if at first we never knew if Starscroll the Bearded was actually dead or not. They never said that he was dead. It's the same thing with. I think in a certain point of view, it's kind of like the same way. We don't know if I mean, this recent episode, the perfect pair, is it's given a lot of hints that they might be dead, and like I said, the creator, Lauren Fels, actually did say that those 2 stars in the first episode that she did of the Apple Family Reunion was to symbolize her parents passing. And I think, but the thing is that Hasbro, in a certain way, I don't know, it could be just me talking, but I think Hasbro is giving its time to just maybe giving the fact that we might get an episode of how they died, or how they might go with that. I mean, I don't know. I would. And here's the thing: a lot of people say, and a lot of famous Brony reviewers saying that if they say or give hints or anything about how they died, or giving an episode of Applejack as parents, episode of how they died, or who killed them, or what manner did they lost their lives, is that it will how do you put this in this way? It will lose its glamour. It's better. A lot of people say that it's better not to touch how they died, because it would lose the glamour, or this thing of this lure of them of giving hints of how they managed to die. I don't know.
Well, they've kind of danced around the issue of, or the concept of loss in MLP, and they did that in the episode where Tank was going to hibernate.
Yeah, they did. They did give hints of that, but it's kind of, I don't know. It's I have issues with that episode, not because of Rainbow Dash itself, but because the episode is, I don't know for you, but for me, it's kind of like Tank wasn't going to die. That's the thing, is that he wasn't going to die. He was still going to be alive when Tarappa shows his pretty little head. So with Rainbow Dash here saying, trying to keep Tank alive, it's kind of like, was it really necessary? I mean, I understand that it was a metaphor for death. But I'm only saying that they could have done it in a better way. I don't know how they could have managed it, but other than all, it was a good episode. I'm not giving it anything off of it, but the thing is that, I don't know, I think it could have been managed better. That's all I'm saying about that. Also, we are noticing that Rainbow Dash in itself is, they get any kind of punishments for the crimes that she did when she was at Cloudsdale on the leather factory. I mean, it's kind of like Stewie. It's kind of like the scene in which Stewie enters the scene, and he's talking to the family, and he's like, just before you know, there is a fat man in Meg's room, and he's eating another dead fat man. Are we just going to sit there and ignore it? Are we? And everybody sits around and just shut up and, okay, yeah, so we're ignoring it. That's kind of my thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know she can be mad, but that's one of those things that you want to bring the song of the 1980s like that to film. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure you know that song. I know that for my childhood. Also, if you're hearing the background thing, is that some neighbor here in the, beneath me is doing some freak job with freaking walls, and it makes me annoying in a certain way. But in a certain way, I'm celebrating because I'm going to finally get the job of meat retailer at the supermarket. So because of the 28 days has passed of testing, I'm going to get the job. Henceforth, I'm going to get a little bit more money, and I'm going to get bonus cash from my work. So, yay for me. Yeah. I'm going to say this. It is a hard job. I do not. I have now a huge fond of respect to anybody who works so hard like this, and especially construction workers. Oh my god. Yeah, but I love my job. I mean, for any of you who are vegans or don't like meat, this is a perfect time to get off the stream, or anybody skip this part of this recorded stream, because I am going to talk the wonders of meat. Yes. That's the part that I love about my job, but still. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those perks that you have to suffer. For me. But still, onto our topic here, which is I don't know, death in the MLP. I don't know about you. Will Hasbro in the future will take the topic of death in the near future? Will you think they will manage to do it? And if so, how?
I don't know. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll kind of take it head on. I think they'll allude to it, and I think they'll kind of, they're not going to show it within the context of the show, aside from King Sombra dying, because they've already done that.
And don't forget this new one, which is the Storm King.
He didn't really die, though.
Well, he did turn into stone.
He got whisked away in a tornado.
He did turn into stone, and then he did fall into a precipice, and he broke. So that's kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He did. Yeah, I saw that scene. So, well, I don't know. But
I'd actually forgotten that scene. His death was pretty forgettable, apparently.
Yeah, it was. It's not like...
He was a very forgettable character.
Yeah, he is. It's not like Tempest. It's like everybody loves Tempest now. I'm pretty sure Tempest is going to be the new waifu thing of everybody's brony thing. Because of reasons. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, for me, in my point of view, I think... I don't know. They could surprise us, but the thing is that if done right, they could handle the topic of death in a kids show. And I'm going to reference this with Sesame Street. Now, Sesame Street, there was an episode in which there was a memorable character that everybody loved. But because this person died, they had to talk on an episode of him being dead and how to cope with death, and especially with kids. And they even managed to bring in a child psychologist for this episode. And they managed to do their research very well in how to manage or cope with death. So if Hasbro, if they want to do a good episode, and if they want to do good research, and if they want to sell more toys, they will invest in this episode in how to deal or talk about death and how to cope with it. I don't know. They could surprise us for anything. We know. But if they only manage to do their security as well as to not leak their episodes in a certain way or to ruin seasons, I'm pretty sure they can do it well. I mean, heck, they did the Perfect Pair so well. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say this much. Nobody in the people that I know in the Brony reviewing community has said anything bad about this episode. That's how good it is. That's how good it is. It's. I don't know about you, but it's a very good episode. I don't see any flaws with it, and anybody around the Brony community agrees. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Like I said, it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I can speak for everybody when I say they did a very good job with the Perfect Pair. So they can surprise us into giving an episode of how they managed to pass away or pass away so young, in which they have to leave their 3 kids in the care of their mother, which is Granny Smith. So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's anybody's guess for this point. Also, now that I'm talking about Applejack's parents, and this is not anything related to MLP, well, in a certain way, but still. I don't think we ever seen or heard or even talk about Wild Arise parents. Are they even alive? Are we going to have like Applejack's parents that are they dead or because we know about Roxy and we know about her story in this recent comic. Mm-hmm. But we have never heard of Wild Arise, so it's
Her parents are alive.
Okay.
I've introduced them. I haven't used them in a story, but I mean her parents are alive, as well as her 2 siblings.
She has siblings?
Mm-hmm. She has 2 older siblings. She has an older sister named Meteora, and they both have an older brother named Rush Winger.
Okay, I pretty am sure you haven't introduced those 2, and I don't.
I've introduced them, but not in the comics. I've introduced them separate.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, Meteora is one of my older. She's one of my older characters. I kind of came up with her not long after I came up.
Okay, you have to give me the links of her parents and her siblings because I don't recall any of those.
I'm looking them up as we speak.
I don't recall any of those 2, or any of those 4, to be exact. Although, I don't know, is it, and I can get a pretty much of a guess here, is one of his siblings, or her siblings, the pony with the white coat and the blue mane? That was forgotten about for some reason, for reasons?
White coat and blue mane?
No, a yellow coat, a yellow skin.
Oh, that's Patsy.
Yeah, Uming, yeah, that one. And her hair that looks like Fluttershy's kind of thing?
More or less.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Fluttershy, but you know what I'm telling, right? Is that one of his siblings?
No.
Okay.
Patsy is, she's actually Stick Sabian's wife.
Okay.
And Stick Sabian is the drummer for Unstable, which is the band Rockout's in.
Oh, is he the guy with the blue coat and the red hair thing?
Mm-hmm. That's him.
Wait, that's his brother?
No, that's Rock's best friend. That's his drummer.
Okay.
Plays the drums.
Let me see. Let me see these links that you sent me. In a certain way, it's kind of like... Wait. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, that's him. Okay. And I can tell by his mane over here, he's a military person. Because of reasons.
Yep. He's a retired bomber.
Oh, yeah. And the very subtle hint of that is in his cutie mark. Yeah.
Of course.
Of course, because of reasons.
The story behind that is, and this is also why Wild actually knows Rarity from Ponyville, because you've heard the term army brat, right?
Yeah.
Where you move around, because your parent, whichever one is in the military, gets stationed at different places, so you move around. Mm-hmm. So Wild, Meteor, and Rush were all basically quote unquote army brats because their dad was a bomber for the EUP.
Oh.
So yeah.
Okay.
So one of the places he was stationed was in Ponyville, and that's where she met Rarity. And then the last place he was ever stationed before he retired was in Flanksington, which is why Wild has lived there ever since.
Okay, let me just give this thing of this, because I his name and especially his dad, is the name Miramar Cal is a reference to the city of San Diego, which is Miramar, California?
It is indeed, because that's where the Top Gun Academy is.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I mean, I've been into Miramar like 100 times, and I never knew that it's a top
Have you ever seen Top Gun?
Well, I know the Blue Thunder goes there every year because they do a show.
You've seen the movie, right?
Yeah.
With Tom Cruise, Top Gun.
Yeah, the Top Gun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what the guy says at the beginning. He says, "I got to send somebody from this squadron to Miramar."
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I figured it was only fitting.
Yeah. Well, like I said, coming from a guy whose family is basically in San Diego, who doesn't know Miramar or California or the Blue Thunder, right? Blue Thunder or Blue Jays? They do their show every summer.
Angels.
Blue Angels. There you go. Thank you. The Blue Angels, they do their show every summer on Miramar, which is their spectacular show. Which, by the way, and this is kind of like in the weirdest way, the Blue Angels, in a certain way, gave the inspiration for the Wonderbolts. So the Wonderbolts costume, and I think the Wonderbolts concept, and the Wonderbolts concept itself was thanks to Lauren Faust's husband, which we all know and love as Craig McCracken. Craig McCracken from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and the Powerpuff Girls. Which, by the way, that's how they met in a certain way. So Yeah. Okay.
He was also the one that came up with a few ideas for Discord's design. More specifically, the shape of his head.
Okay, I didn't. I didn't hear that one. I didn't hear that was. I didn't know that.
That's actually on Lauren's DeviantArt. That's actually on Lauren's DeviantArt account.
Oh, that one, yeah. Well, she brought into. Well, she alone brought into the concept that it was kind of like Q from Star Trek, and that's how John Delancey got the role because basically the originality of Discord was basically the personality of Q in a certain way. So in a certain way, that's how we got the role because she was inspired by Q from Star Trek. Oh, and hence all the fan art of Discord and Q and them together, or Discord being dressed as Q from Star Trek. Oh, if I have not seen any, have I seen everything about that? I would say it's. I wouldn't have enough for those. Also, now that I'm bringing up here because I'm looking at Rushwinger here, he kind of looks like Flash Sentry with a mohawk. I'm sorry to say that.
Although he came years before Flash Sentry, I want to clear that up.
Okay, let me see. Okay, July 10th, 2014. Okay.
That is actually not the first picture of him that I've ever done, though.
Okay.
Rushwinger was a very early character that I came up with, and if you'll give me a second, I'll pull up the original link.
Yeah, bring me the original link and let me see if it's because we can
September 27th, 2012.
Oh, okay, then that was way
So he got Flash Sentry by a few years. Plus, Flash Sentry doesn't have a mullet.
Well, I kind of look at it like a mohawk from this point. You can see he's looking at me straight. So yeah. Oh, okay. Now I see it.
It's shortened. Yeah, I guess it is more of a mohawk. It's more like a Native American mohawk because it's long and it's got the long part in the back.
Yeah, I am seeing it, and I'm seeing his cutie mark too. Okay, yeah. So yeah, mohawk, Flash Sentry, and I think your character beats Flash Sentry way over.
Yeah, about a few years at least.
Yep, for a few years at least. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Yes. And to be honest here, what does he do? I mean, now that I've seen his cutie mark, I am pretty sure he has to do something with competing and racing.
Yeah, he's a professional racer. The name actually came from actually a reference to Days of Thunder because there's a character named Russ Wheeler, and his car is actually orange and blue.
Oh, so this is why we see in this one in particular that his code in main is in orange and blue. Oh, okay, I can see that. I can see that.
In fact,
I can see.
In fact, his his suit is actually pretty much the same color as Russ's.
Yeah, let me see this recent one. Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing the photo. His is more blue than orange. So what you did is turn the colors in reverse, meaning more orange than blue. So I can see why. Yeah, I can see definitely why.
Well, his hang on. Let me send you the colored one. His racing suit is actually blue.
Well, I'm seeing the photo right now that you sent me, and I can see the orange with the blue, a lot of blue in his suit. Yeah, the blue suit. Yeah, I see it. But his is more blue than orange. I can see why. Okay, yeah. I can definitely see why.
Well, I wanted Rush's suit to be blue, so I mean, I made his coat orange so it stood out, and his hair blue.
Ah, okay. I can definitely see it. Yes. Also, now that I've seen Wild Arise Mom, Stormy Swift, funniest thing, I mean, does her job has to? I'm like playing like Guess Who here, like I'm playing the Guess Who thing in job term thing. Is her job has to do with the also important Clydesdale weather factoring? So happen to be.
Sure. I haven't really written a backstory for her, so sounds good.
Oh, okay. So, oh shit. Now that we brought it up, oh my god, I feel sorry for her for the mess that Rainbow Dash did when she tried to save a tank from hibernation. I feel sorry for her. She had to do all the paperwork. Oh my god.
Stormy's cutie mark is actually just one hurricane, whereas her daughter's is 3.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's true. It is true. But she's more of a rocker, and we never. You know what? Now that I bring it up, we never see her working. What is her professional? Well, it is babysitting, right? We have seen comics about it, right?
Well, the babysitting she does is for her niece. Spitty Bitty.
Yeah.
Spitty Bitty is her niece. She is actually Rush. She's actually Rush's daughter, Rush, and another character named Mela Yellow. Guess where I got that name from?
Wait, which one?
Mela Yellow.
Mela Yellow.
M-E-L-L-A.
Fuck, yeah, I know what you got that name. Freaking, and that's your favorite drink. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Not as much thought went into my stuff back in the day, okay?
No, not as much thought.
Back when I first started making OCs.
Well, I can yeah. I have basically no words. It's true. It is so true. Well, I can say virtually for me, it's true when I say it's kind of hard to think with a name for an OC. I mean, basically when I was starting my creating my Pomisona or my character, which had to resemble me. I started with the name. I virtually started with the name Bronco Pen. But as time, like the song goes, as time goes by, I was like, it needs to be more original. So I started researching, and all of a sudden, poof, I started with the name Professor Flying Joe Mule. Now, I'm going to say this much. Now, the hat, his white hat, which everybody knows at this point that he has this Applejack signature hat in this point. And the reason why it is white, it is very simple for me, and it's because my father, and I'm going to talk about my father since today is the Day of the Dead for my culture. My father, out of all the people, had a white hat, that white cowboy hat. That was one of those. That's one of those things in my town, especially in the region where I live. Most of the people and especially the poor or the humble or the working people, usually wear a white hat, a white cowboy hat. You can still see around the towns and cities of this region where I live, they wear a white hat. And my father, out of all the people who wore a white hat, I always seen him with a white hat. It's not because of Applejack and I want to change the colors out of anything. No. Because that's kind of one of those things, is that that's one of those reasons that I made him wear a white hat is because of my father, and you know what, I wanted to make him a little bit a part of this thing and world, and I made myself their versions of how they would look like in a certain way if they were in the only world. The Professor Mule's parents, he doesn't like to talk. That's the thing. This character doesn't like to talk about his past or his parents because it's kind of like an Applejack thing. Is that it's a very hard topic. It's one of those things that it's very delicate to talk about it, if anything. So for him, it's kind of like hard. He always says that he's from Trondheim because he wants to hide. It's not that he's ashamed of his parents or anything like that. It's just that it hurts him. It's like I said, I like to bring. I really. This character basically is me in a certain way, but in a certain way, he likes to. He managed to cope with his loss, and he basically moves on. He basically goes and moves on, and not so long ago, he managed to find his one true love, which is Tammy. And it wasn't that long before he found her, and she managed to basically start a life with her because of it. So, I mean, that's one of those perks that I really wanted to bring. Because, to be true, or point taken in here, when I basically found this show, which was it 2013-14? I think it was because at the start of the season 3, when the end of season 3, when Twilight Sparkle becomes an alicorn.
Season 3 starts.
Yeah, when Twilight Sparkle becomes an alicorn, and in the that's the end of season 3, and in season 4 is when she starts to learn with this alicorn powers of hers, and that's when the EQG world started to appear. The first one. I think I don't know about you. The only thing I remember about the the only thing I remember about the movie is a song. I remember the song of the EQG, which is what was the song again? Bringing Twilight Sparkle Winter Crown thing. Remember that song? You remember.
What?
Do you remember the song from the first EQG movie? Remember that one? When the human main 5 get together to make Twilight Sparkle Winter Crown thing, and they sing that. Yeah, that one. That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the one. Like, hey, everybody, They got something to say. We all seem as different as the night is the day. Oh my god. I still remember that song. It's one of those songs that is freaking catchy. I'm going to say this much. Daniel Ingram managed to do his songs very well. And especially this one. Oh, do I remember this one. Oh my god. I don't know about you, but out of that movie, I remember that song. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that is never going to get off of my head. So, but anybody, I don't know if in the stream is watching. I don't know if it's live on stream. I have that thing when it comes to knowing if anybody sees it. But if anybody sees it on either YouTube or live stream, you're watching the actual photo of how his parents would be. I mean, like I said, he is an actual mule, and in a certain way, in a certain ways, that's how they would look like if they were in the EQG world. Like I said, both of them passed away. First my father, and then my mother. And I can say this much: I made him a donkey because he was a very hardworking man. He was one of those. I hate to say this in a cliche way, but it's true. He was a man's man. Basically saying that he was working in the fields, and he was plowing the fields, and he was farming. He didn't have his own farm, but he was basically farming for another person's farm. He was basically working his ass off on the fields, and he was, and yeah, he was basically farming on the fields. Curiously, how they met is kind of like a funny thing, and it has to do with him working in the fields and my mother doing the accounting things, which is why I made my mother, his mother on this world, calling Gentlebit, because she was an accountant, and when she met my father, is kind of like it's kind of like Romeo, and not a kind of cliche way, but at this point of this story, my father was very shy in talking to a woman. Well, not talking to a woman, but talking to her, because she liked her. And she told a friend of his to go and say hi to her from his part. And when he went up to her to convey this message, she replied him back in saying, "Don't send it to me. Just make him bring him to me." Because my mother wasn't that shy at all. She was very Pinkie Pie-ish kind of way in saying, "You know what? Don't send it to me. Just make him bring it to me," kind of way. And that's how they first met, and that's how they got married. And ta-da! I was born. It's the reason. Like I said, that's the reason that I made, in a certain out of, not to make it any complicated thing, how I managed to make it a mule, because out of the donkey, which is my father, and which is, like I said, he was a very hardworking man, and my mother, a very refined and a very very gentle, very kind and gentle person. And like I said, she was an accountant for that point. And hence why I managed to do this photo of them in remembrance of them, because like I said, when this show appeared in 2010, they were already dead. In fact, my mother, like I said, and I think I said it before, my mother, when she died, which was December 16, she died on a Friday. And the episode in which Pinkie Pie appears in, which in the episode with the Paris Prize, aired on Saturday, September 17th. So I managed to watch that episode and I never saw it again because of the air date. And it brings so many, I think for me, so many painful memories in a certain way, because like I said before, I like to think that she's in a better place, and I like to think she's in Ponyville because of reasons. And because of it, I managed to do this picture in which they are together in a certain way. He is a donkey and she is a pony, a Pegasus pony. And because of the I know because of the color is that I know that she liked the peach. She always liked peach, and I know this because I managed to dress up, and I'm not kidding you when I say this. I managed to do in 5th or 6th grade, as we were doing a small world version for Mother's Day. And I happened to be dressed up as a Chinese man, and let it be known that the Chinese dress that I managed to go as that time was henceforth peach. And I remember that so well. Oh my God. But I managed to do it because of Mother's Day. I remember that so well. So yeah, that's the reason why she has the color peach of her coat. I mean, like I said, I didn't manage to do anything, I don't know, either extraordinary, like their hair's like colorful. I mean, that's as close as I'm going to get, like anything to that. Like, I wanted to bring in a more like closeness to them. So, like I said, it's one of those things that he doesn't like to talk. Like I said, I think the only person that knows the full story of his parents and his full story would be her wife. And in a certain way, is his wife, like I said, Tammy, I always say that she's a Pinkie Pie-ish kind of thing, and she likes to pretend to be dumb. It's not like she is dumb. She likes to pretend that she's dumb, but she is more smarter than her husband. But she pretends to be dumb because of it. It's because she likes to be naive. She likes to be this character in which she's the naive character of the group, like Pinkie from Pinky and the Brain, because of him, because of his shyness and this sort of this pain that he has to carry. So she likes to have fun with him, and she does it in very kind of, it's not, I wouldn't say weird way, but it's kind of like she has her unique way of having fun with him, and she does. Now I am thinking of, this is the reason why, in a kind of certain way, she doesn't talk, because I have a story for that. and she managed to drink a potion that he made, in which she lost her voice. So, and because of it is one of those things that he feels guilty that because of his one of his potions made her wife out of all the things mute, not talking in a certain way, and it's up to him in a certain way to bring back her wife's voice. I don't know. I don't know about me. I am a very complicated man, and I like to think of things because because I overthink too much. I like to say.
You too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about you or how you manage to do with. Well, you managed to do your character Wild Awry, but for me, I think I went up too deep in which of it because I was thinking, you know what? If I managed to do it on and this is why she doesn't talk. And I was like, you know what? If I managed to do this on YouTube, I wouldn't get anybody to make anybody do the voice of her wife. So I was thinking, you know what? What better to do it than not talking? But how I managed to do it, that's how I managed to do the backstory of it. Because she drank a potion, and she couldn't talk because of it. So, those, yeah, I like to complicate myself with those thoughts in my head. I mean, I don't know about you. Would you, now that I'm thinking about it, would you ever make Wild not talk? Or make, like, an X? Because this is, that's how it began with you and Rockout turning into a woman, right? Because of an accident. Because of her sister changed his brother into a mare. Because of it, right?
Yeah, essentially.
That's kind of like the same way, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and it's
Essentially.
Yeah, essentially, because ever since then, her sister is like being tormented with her own dreams, in which we saw your comics because of it, and I'm pretty sure in her own mind, like she's thinking of how to change her brother back. But I think at this point, it's like we don't know what's going to happen. If it does, we don't know what's going to happen with Rocket. The Rocket we know, the Rocket that we love, the Rocket that doesn't give a shit and shows her taponskers on 4th of July. Oh my god. How many... I'm just gonna say this. I've seen every single card that you did on the 4th of July. And it's like, you don't give a shit and you just show your natural beauty. Like Frida Kahlo and her paintings and her nakedness to the world. Oh my god.
Yeah, Rocket he ain't got no scruples about showing off a little bit of skin.
Okay, now I'm going to say this much. I'm pretty sure the alternative universe Rocket does give a shit about her boobs showing to the public.
She really doesn't. She really doesn't mind. But yeah, she is she is a little more classy about it than Rock is.
Okay.
But
yes.
it's reasons.
Yeah.
Rocky, unlike Rockout, knows the meaning of the word modesty.
Okay, that's the only thing I need to hear about that. Because Raquel, on the other hand, doesn't give a shit. Like I said, I've seen every single 4th of July card that you did, and it's like you managed to do every single 4th of July, like bringing out her two best friends.
Well, all but
to the world.
All but the first one. The first 4th of July one actually had both of them in there, and Pony Rocket was saluting, while Human Rocket was just playing guitar. wearing a tank top.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's the one time that you managed to do that. But other than that, there were a lot of more.
That was before I got the idea to kind of go the direction with it that I have been doing.
Oh, yes. And also, I have. Oh, this is. Well, we are basically at 9, so I'm pretty sure a child is going to hear this. So, have you ever named his Tatanskars?
Yes, I have. The left one is Lita, and the right one is Rita.
Ah, that's nice. That's nice. I don't think I have named mine, and I'm speaking for Penny because no, I don't think I have. You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've named the Tatanskar sufferer. You know what? I'm going to say this much.
Let's keep this clean. Let's call him Chi-Chi, okay?
This one moves.
Boobies. Sweater mittens.
Muffin.
Jugs.
Is Muffin's reference to
Mommy bags.
Is Muffin's reference to the boobs, or it's reference to another place?
Well, muffins and muff aren't the same thing.
No, I'm talking because of the Saturday Night Live in which Betty White happened to mention her muffins, and everybody thought it was another thing because of her muffins.
Well, as with anything, context is everything.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, the most famous one is Alec Baldwin and his sweaty balls. Nobody can resist my sweaty balls.
I can see this stream whenever it gets reposted as just a video on YouTube. It's gonna have to have like a mature tag or something.
I like
yeah, you're gonna have to sign in to confirm your age to listen to this one.
No, like I said, dude. I mean, I'm not kidding you. There are kids that watch Rick and Morty, and I'm pretty sure their parents don't know it, or they do know, and they just don't care about their kids watching Family Guys or. I'm pretty sure if you talk to a 13-year-old or 10-year-old kid right now and saying who's Family Guy, they will tell you Family Guy, South Park, and Rick and Morty. I am pretty sure of that. So,
which really, I don't think you should be allowed to watch shows like that until you're at least 12 or 13. But I guess everybody's different.
No, I'm just going to tell you.
That's just.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you from my own experience from this, in that I have a cousin who, at the time, was 10 or 12 years old, and even him, he knew who Family Guy was, South Park, and back then it was Rick and Morty, but still, he basically knew every adult cartoon from the late night show, so.
I actually remember when I was like, maybe it was 10 or 11, we went over to my aunt's, and the adults were all watching South Park, and they wouldn't let me come downstairs. I had to stay upstairs with my cousin.
Well, it's to each to their own, basically, because it's basically
they didn't let me watch it. They didn't let me watch stuff like that till I was about 12 or 13.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's kind of like anybody. I think it's how you. I think the point of this moral is how you raise your kids and how you don't let your kids watch content that is not suitable for young viewers. But like I said,
they put age restrictions. Yeah, they put age restrictions on these shows for reasons.
Yes. It's true, yeah. But okay, let me go to this in a simple way, and I'm going back to the 90s reference. It's like going to Mortal Kombat all over again. Mortal Kombat at this time was the most violent video game on the market. And this is how
Mortal Kombat is the reason the ESRB exists.
Yeah, but in a certain way, that's it's kind of like this, and this is how it's America is founded in its center core. When you tell somebody don't play this or do not watch this, it's kind of like hinting you must watch it, you must play it. So in a certain way, that's how Mortal Kombat made its popularity out of the scandal and the share of violence or the news, bad news, bad publicity that this franchise began. I mean, that's how it began.
Well, in the words of Gene Simmons, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Oh no! In the case of Mortal Kombat, it still today, it's one of those most famous franchises that has ever existed, and it will ever exist. It's the same level as Final Fantasy.
Controversy definitely can generate some revenue.
Oh yes, yes. That's how Mortal Kombat began. It's
controversy is a very lucrative business.
I think I remember playing Mortal Kombat. Well, I've seen people playing Mortal Kombat because. Like I said, I was in the arcade one time, and like I said, I watched people play Mortal Kombat, and I think I played Mortal Kombat in one time. But everybody knows who.
I used to play it up at the movie theater here in Lexington.
Yeah, everybody knows who Mortal Kombat is, and everybody knows the characters of it. So, like I said, it's going back to that age, and it's going back. So, like, I mean. It's kind of like that same thing. So on to my original question. If I had to name penny pence satanskers or boobies for this thing, it would probably be like Sailor Mars pets, which are two crows in which. And they are named after the two moons of the planet Mars, which is Phobos and what is the other one of Sailor Mars pets, crow pets? It's kind of like two. Oh my god, I'm terrible with names, but it has to be named after those two moon planets of Mars, the planet Mars. It's Phobos and it's oh my god, I know one is Phobos. That's one of those. Let me go. Let me see.
Phobos and Deimos.
Deimos. That's one of those things that I would have to name. Penny Pants Boobs. It's Phobos and Deimos because of Sailor Mars, and up to this day, still Sailor Mars is one of my favorite characters. Not because she's not because of not because anything related to me and the planet Mars because of astrology and such things. No, because I really love her character, and I don't know. It has to be a tie with Sailor Mars for me and Sailor Jupiter. It's kind of like going again. It's like going to the same topic from yesterday. It's like
that's an easy decision for me.
Oh, big whoop because Sailor Jupiter.
But that goes without saying.
Okay. I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. Sailor Moon has a ponytail. So if you had to choose between Sailor Moon and Sailor Jupiter, who would it be?
Sailor Moon does not have a ponytail. Sailor Moon has twin tails. It's not the same.
No, it's ponytails. It's ponytails?
It's not the same.
Oh.
It's one too many.
Can you
Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad hairstyle.
No,
but I don't know. There's just something about having I don't know. There's just something about a girl having a sexy ponytail and just one. I love it.
Okay, so you have to have a specific one ponytail. So this is why you prefer more Sonata than Aria, because she has two ponytails, and Aria and Sonata has one.
That and Arya's not that and Arya's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of I don't know, a little angsty for me.
Angsty. Well, I guess. Well, I don't know about you, but I always saw her like the kind of like would be in the same level than Rocket in a certain way. I don't know about you, but that's how I look at it.
Well, I mean, Arya's pretty much always in a bad mood. You know, Rock, even when he's Rocket, I mean, he's still in a halfway decent mood most of the time.
Well, yeah, that's true, and also because he's a man.
I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, because he's a man. He was born a man, and he's kind of like the Big Lebowski in a certain way, and he's always like, whatever floats your boat, man. Halfway. But you know what? Now that I think about it,
he definitely learned. He definitely got to a point where he could cope with it. He was able to cope with it.
Now that I think about it, and this is, like I said, this is something that I'm pretty sure everybody would agree with me, is that we have never seen Rockhead, and this is Rockhead, not Rocky, Rockhead in her period, or how she would, how does she cope with the period? I mean, you never did a comic because of it. I am pretty sure about that.
Give me a second.
I'm pretty sure. You can look, but I'm pretty sure.
Be surprised. Be surprised.
Let me see. Let's see. I'm looking at the comment right now. Oh, it's one of those earlier. See. Okay. Oh, okay. I've never seen this one. This is the first time I've ever seen this comic. What? That's why you were...
And that answers your other question of what does Wild do for a living.
Oh, you know what? You killed two pigeons with one stone. That's the reason.
He also cleans houses from time to time. Although I haven't showed that in any of the comics.
No.
That might end up being a wild side.
Well, that kills two birds with one stone right here. What? That's why you were home all day? Well, not all day. Don't worry, baby. It's gonna be alright. Oh, and she says, oh, and she's selling Tampa. Oh, she's selling. Oh, okay. Yeah, that answers my question about how much Lyle's doing for work. Is that she sells tampons for mares.
Well, she kind of works at a general store.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Now that you're saying that, it's, you have to do, you have to do something about a reference to this. A reference to Family Guy. Remember, I don't know if you remember, is that Remember in the scene when Peter Griffin goes into a specific store and he's talking to the store and he's like, "Do you have macadamia nuts?" "Yes, we have macadamia nuts." "What kind of macadamia nuts?" "I don't know. From the Pacific region?" "Yeah, we have from the Pacific region." What kind? What close to it?" And he's taking this specific region and he's taking the measures and everything, and and he goes to the other general store and he says, "You have stuff?" "Yeah, we have stuff." I am pretty. You should do that with Wild Emery going like, "Do you have stuff?" "Yeah, we have stuff here." Oh my god, that would be funny. Oh my god, yeah. You know what? I have not seen this. I think this is the first time I've seen this comic. But then again, yeah.
It's an old.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that I never seen those ones in a specific way. But still, like I said, I was. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those little comics and misadventures. Yes. I think I also saw. I think one comic in which you did in. I don't know if it was you or somebody that said, "How do you manage to spend your time as a mayor?" And you showed in the comic how you managed to do it. I don't know. Let me check. Let me. Was it this one? I'm watching. I saw some. I think it's this one. Oh my god, I hate my Wi-Fi. Sometimes I hate my Wi-Fi because of reasons. Is it? No. No, it's not that one. No. 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 Also, now that I'm bringing this topic right now.
Is it this one?
Let me see. Now that I'm bringing the topic right now, and this is kind of, I'm pretty sure you're not going to answer this, but still, one can guess, one can give theories as much as their imagination goes wild, pun intended. And still,
just as long as their imagination doesn't go awry.
Yeah, I fall into that one. I'm gonna have to admit that one. But still, to be taken. Still, if
did you get the link I sent?
Yeah, if Wild and let me just answer this. If Wild and Rockout had a child or foal, would he or she be turned into like his father, changed into a mayor or a coach because of his father? Genetic thing?
We have yet to see.
Ah, yes, I knew you were going to say that. It was like you pleading the fifth at this point.
Yep, I plead the fifth of Jack.
Yes. But I like to, but like I said, I can only guess and one can only imagine, and I can see, and like, I don't know if you've seen the episode, but in my childhood, I'm referencing to Ron Van Half's future, in which he takes this mirror and he looks into his future, how his future would look like. And in one of those futures, Ryoga marries Akane, and he has kids with her, and this kids of his own turns into little pigs, little pigs that go wandering around and doing their pig noise thing. I mean, I can just imagine Rock Out and Wild having foals and their foals turn into genders of their opposite things. Oh yes, this comic. Oh yeah, I remember this one. It's kind of like I remember this because it's kind of based off of the song Applejack. Who's a pretty pony? Who's a pretty pony? Who is Applejack? Oh my god.
Applejack's a silly pony.
I remember it because of it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I cannot get that song off my head because of it. But it's not who's a pretty pony, who's a silly pony. You managed to change even the lyrics of it. It's like, who's a silly pony, who's a silly pony, who is Applejack. And you managed to do it as a, who's a pretty pony, who's a pretty pony, who is Little Rocket. I don't know how you managed to do that, but you managed to pull that off.
Admittedly, it wasn't too hard.
Yeah, it wasn't that too hard. Is that it's oh my god. Oh, I'm seeing the other link. Oh my god, it's it's like you're torturing me. It's like you're a Russian and you're torturing me with.
I'm not torturing you. I was sending you a link just in case.
Yeah, it's like Russian. It's like you're letting me.
For those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about, I sent him a link to eBay for SH
Sailor Mars.
Sailor Mars.
Yes, all Sailor Mars. But to be honest, and I'm going to say this much. I'm going to say this much in saying that Sailor Mars and Sailor Jupiter, in my point of view, because of the ponytails or her hair, it's one of those things that I like Sailor Jupiter because she's a tomboy and anything surrounding because of it, and she cooks and a lot of those points. And Sailor Mars, on the other hand, it's kind of has a unique thing. It's like going again, like yesterday, with Luna and Celestia. It's like, It's like, I mean, I can still see them, and I can, like I said, I can still Sailor Mars and Jupiter, like, and like I said, this is kind of like PG-13 in a sort of way, but doing a mud wrestle with bikinis on. And in the same way I'm seeing it in Sailor, in Celestia and Luna. Oh my god, I am such a naughty mule. Yes, I am a naughty mule. Yes, this is why he doesn't talk. This is why Professor Mule doesn't talk, or doesn't speak his mind, because if he does, his wife is going to punish him. And I'm not going to say how he punishes him, but yeah, it's one of those things that North Korea would give, would look like North Korea a kindergarten in a certain way, because of the way. Yeah, this is why he doesn't talk. Because of it. Yes. But to be fair, yeah, to be fair, it's, I think I can vouch for myself is that I have two waifus, and I can say with pride it would be Sailor Mars and Sailor Jupiter. And on the other side would be Celestia Luna. And I can still fantasize of naughty things with them. If I seen clopping, I would say, if I would say I had not seen clopping, I would be lying. Oh, yes. I've seen a lot of clopping art, especially around Luna. I mean, a lot of people like Luna doing naughty things. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Have you seen, I don't think you've seen, but I think there's a comic in which Sketchy the Changeling made Rarity, date him, and and she went from normal into it's kind of hard to explain this, but I think she turned into a dominatrix. And for those of you who don't know it, who don't know what the dominatrix is, thank you. Don't Google it. Because, yeah, it's one of those things that you're not...
Too late.
Too late? One of those things that not too late. But she basically...
If you want somebody to do something, tell them not to.
Tell them not
Especially over the...
Especially on the YouTube and live stream.
Nothing makes somebody want to Google something more than saying, don't Google it.
Don't Google it. That's how you promote the things. That's how you promote
That's
anything.
how you instill curiosity in somebody. Don't Google it.
Yes, that's how you promote anything. That's basically just say don't do it, and they do it. The human mind and how it works. It's fascinating.
It's like a project I was working on whenever I was in school this last time when I was getting my graphic arts degree. We were making drink labels for a project, and the drink I decided to do was called Babushka's Old Fashioned Russian Tea. So, in order to present the effect to give off the effect that this was like indeed old fashioned, I actually wanted to have an actual babushka or a Russian granny on the label. And I will say, if you are doing something in the same vein and you're going to Google the words Russian granny, do so with the safe search on. I found that out the hard way in the middle of class. And the dude sitting next to me, because he busted out laughing louder than I did.
Oh, I'm afraid to ask this, but is it bad as it sounds? Now that you're saying it,
It's as bad as it sounds, and then some.
really, just by googling babushka.
No, I actually typed in the words Russian granny. And apparently, yeah, that I got a little more than I bargained for.
Oh God, really?
So, needless to say, that became a running joke for the rest of my last semester there. That was actually my next to last semester there. So, all the next semester, that became a running joke. It's like, make sure you got your safe search on, JR.
I'm afraid to go. You know what? I'm not going to do it. But anybody who's going to do it, be ready to be traumatized, because I'm pretty sure everybody's going to type in and going to do it. Let's see, Russian granny, because everybody gives a shit right now because of it. But I am not going to do it. I am very smart people in saying I'm not going to do it. But anybody that's going to do it, prepare.
It's pretty obvious that it's getting late and I'm tired of shit.
Yeah, prepare to be traumatized. And if anybody who's a child or should not watch this stream at this hour, be ready to be childhood traumatized because of it. Oh my God. Now that you bring up Russian babushka, I don't know why, but I don't know why I have to do this, but it sort of makes me bring a Russian song from out of all the things. I don't know why. I don't know if you intended to do it because of like you said, because of Russian granny. I don't know. Oh my God. This is how publicity starts in a certain way. If you want to, this is how Coca-Cola in a certain way managed to go on the top again because of the new Coke thing out of all the things. again, I'm just saying this, is that I'm pretty sure they managed to do a very good publicity because of New Coke, and they managed to switch the formulas. I mean, like I said, this is how we began on one of those streams that we had because of it. Like I said, it's anyone's guess, but still. I don't know about you, but I managed to play a lot of video games in the arcade when I was a kid. I remember, like I said, as a kid going on the buses and just going to the arcades for reasons. And this is a time in which Yu-Gi-Oh cards were trendy in its time. Do you remember the Yu-Gi-Oh trendy cards and the Pokemon trendy card games?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That was all the way through middle school.
Oh, dude, I couldn't get. If you didn't have like Pokemon trading cards or Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards, you were basically nothing. I
had like 5 Pokemon cards and that was it, and they got stolen from me. Kid took them, and then right in front of me just walked off the bus. He got off at his stop, didn't give them back, and I'm saying, "Hey, give me those back! Hey, give me those back! Hey, give me those back!" I'm basically yelling, and the bus driver doesn't do anything to stop him. I was like, "What the hell just happened here?" I mean, it's like this guy just stole them right out of my freaking hand. I mean, he's like, "Let me see him," so I let him see him. He got up off the bus and walked away with them.
Oh my god!
I should have knocked the shit out of him.
You should have.
I should have knocked the shit out of him, but I guess I was just so damn. I was so shocked that happened that I couldn't even think straight. I'm like, "What the hell?"
Oh my god! You know what? I basically had a problem with me, not as much as Pokemon trading cards, but Yu-Gi-Ohs. It's like I was basically hooked on into Yu-Gi-Ohs. Oh my god! And like I said, I was basically the arcade kid that always went to arcades and just played games. And I'm pretty sure nobody knows this character because she's not that famous out of the King of Fighters series. I'm pretty sure nobody, but for me, in my point of view, I've always liked or always played King of Fighters, and my favorite character to play out of all the King of Fighters, or my waifu at that point, would be a character called Kasumi Todo, in which she's a daughter of Mr. Todo Ryaku, in which he appeared just one game and just never decided to go again because he was beaten by Ryo Sasaki, who is a blonde Japanese guy, in which he beat the shit out of him, and because of his because he was an old Japanese guy who was like very into the very traditional Japanese way of losing